Start this one. All right, that one's recording. Recording two. All right, let's roll. Let's go to speaker view. Whoa, it's a big picture of Lynn. Back to gallery view. All right, welcome to the UAT Greenlight celebration for the end of the spring 2020 term. Today we are going to celebrate the projects that have run over the spring and pitch projects that might get on for summer. So real quick, we're going to do a brief little introduction about how this works. UAT Game Studios runs a project-based studio on campus as part of the curriculum. Within that, we bring in external projects and or student projects to get greenlit. Students have to pitch these projects like they would at any other company and get themselves greenlit. If you are greenlit, then we put together the talent in the studio to build that project. Projects can run more than one term, but they do have to pitch every term, so you have to show progress. The great part about this is it is an incubator style thing where the students as developers can go ahead and start their own company and take what they build in our studio and build their own company out of it. So it's a really cool kind of presentation. Darren, mute your microphone.
Oh, sorry.
But other than that, we really do enjoy what we're doing. So we've had some really, really great projects come out of this, and we've got some really great projects to look at today. We'll be doing them in two different chunks. We've got our first set of projects that we will present. We'll make a break in the video. We do have some projects that are being built for external clients that do not want their IP released yet. So we'll do those in a separate sub presentation just for video purposes. Once we get done with that, the UAT game faculty will break for lunch and decide which ones are greenlit. Greenlighting is based off of a bunch of things. It's based off of the quality of the project, how it fits in the current need of the studio. So if the studio has a bunch of sports games, we're probably not going to do a bunch of sports games, and we don't have any mobile, we might look for mobile. We also look for what each project needs from a resource standpoint. And finally, we kind of look at what trends are happening in the industry. What kind of games are big in the industry right now. So there's a lot of factors. So while quality of the pitch and presentation is very, very, very important, it's not the only factor of getting in. Sometimes in the world of projects and pitching, timing can be everything, right? Whatever's hot right now might get you in over something that's not. And those are just factors that are beyond your control, but you do have to deal with as somebody who is pitching projects. So that is mostly how things work. Today we have 6 projects that were in the studio that are going to present. We've got 2 beyond that, if I'm looking at the list right, that are going to pitch for summer as well. So they weren't current projects, but they're pitching to get in for summer. All right. If you have any questions, you can use the raise hand feature in Zoom. If you're in the Zoom right now, that will flag me that you have something. While other people are presenting, go ahead and keep yourself muted. Just to make things interesting, we will have the chat running live. So if you have feedback as the presentation's going, one thing we have found in these Zoom virtual presentation styles over a standard presentation is it has become much more interactive, and that's becoming a very cool thing. So, as they are presenting, type into the chat, right? Give some feedback. Presenter, I wouldn't look at that while you're presenting, it can be distracting, but it is really makes things more interactive. So if you see something you like, give them a woohoo or a yay. If you have a question, you can toss it in there. Because these tend to go a little bit quicker, we will go ahead and then answer some questions at the end of each presentation if we have time and everything's going really well. As you present, presenter, obviously make sure you unmute yourself. When you're done presenting, make sure you mute yourself back up. If different people on the team are going to present, obviously, unmute yourself for those as well. All right. I will look at the chat. Any questions going on? If you have any questions, feel free to flag me there. All right, let's roll into the presentation. So first up, we have Escape Room AR. Lindsay Boggs, you may take over.
All right, I'm going to share my screen
and show you guys our trailer to start off with. All right, can everybody see this?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, full screen, and here we go.
At first glance, it might just look like I'm standing in an empty room. But if you check out this phone, I'm surrounded by gargoyles and flaming torches. Thanks to augmented reality, I'm standing in a virtual escape room.
All right. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
Da-da-da-da. Oh
Go
my
from a meme to like SpongeBob to like Star Wars for a fat second and SpongeBob.
So, that was our trailer. We can jump into the build real quick to show you what we built this semester. So I'm gonna stop sharing this screen, and we're gonna share from the phone. Where's the stop sharing button? Oh, it's up there. Cool. It'll come up from the Escape Room AR account on here. I'm gonna quickly go through what we did this semester, and I'm actually gonna mute this camera, else you'll see me walking around the NT lab. Cool. Do you actually want to go back to the start screen so we can show off the thing? Can you guys still hear me from this microphone? Yes, should be able to. So this semester we completely revamped our UI. We have a deco theme on the outside, external of the fantasy escape room. We also added the ability to create and join rooms this semester. We have room numbers that you can create, and then you can also select your own class once you get into the room. And it does take just a second to communicate with our network.
Try to speak up just a little bit, Lindsay.
Sorry. Did you hear what I just said? Or should I? This is our class selection screen. So here you can choose between the mage, the oracle, and the rogue on the bottom of the screen, and then you also have your multiple selection. So we're going to start with the mage for now. And then we hit ready and start. does take a second, sorry. Alright, so here we are in the escape room. You can see that we have our mage theme, as we are now the mage. We have our hint system enabled, so if we were to come up on an object here, we get it to render real quick. We could actually select this hint on the object itself. What did you say? Sorry. Which will display a hint.
A little louder, Lindsay.
Sorry, which will display a hint, and then that will get that to go away. We also have a rotations puzzle asset that was worked on by many of our artists. We have a potions puzzle, which is solved here. So we also have this highlight shader that was offered by Ross, and we can collect these potions and then solve them here with red, yellow, and blue, which gives us this asset for Mars. And that goes with our planets puzzle here. So we can go ahead and grab our Mars asset and solve this puzzle by applying it to the Ori solar system. And then we also have a monster board to show off, which is a game board within a game. Oops, wrong access. If we go ahead and tap on this, it opens up. And these pieces can be collected and reapplied to the game board. So if I have the alligator here, for example, can snap back in. Oops. Wolf. Here. Etc. And then we also have, I'll get these as well. We also have our highlight shader, as you've seen, and we also implemented our horizontal orientation this semester as well. So now I will go ahead and do stand-ups. Stop sharing from this screen, if you wouldn't mind. Sorry. Thank you. And I will reshare my screen, and I'll just have our trailer playing on loop while the team talks about what we've done. Oops.
At first glance, it might just look like.
So this semester, I worked on project and team management, as well as art integration for the art team, bringing their assets into the engine. I modeled, textured, and animated several assets myself. Highlights of those were the rotation platform and the pewter wolf. Also build integration and bug fixes throughout the different milestones, and then I also created the trailer that you saw for you today. So next, Ruth, if you'd like to give your stand-up and share your camera.
Hello, my name is Ruth Lewis. I am an artist on Escape Room AR, second semester. This semester I worked on a lot of the fantasy UI, such as little cooly-doos in the corner, along with the text dialog box, the timer. I also did concept art for the ferry, did models such as the cauldron and the bat model, and also just helped in general when my technical difficulties came up for several of the artists.
Awesome. John Pratt, if you'd like to go.
Of course. Hello, I'm John, one of the artists. This semester, I completed the main screen UI where all the Art Deco stuff is. I worked on the class selection UI, making all the pretty icons. And my primary focus was creating the game board, modeling, designing, texturing, animating for the board game puzzle.
John Baylog, if you're in the house, we'd like to have you present with us too.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Hello, my name is John Bailog. I'm an artist on Escape Room AR and currently doing work for Mascot Heroes. Um, for this milestone, or I guess for the entirety of the thing, pretty much worked on the Yeti game piece. Got that modeled, textured, and ready for implementation. I also worked on the fairy cage that's on the rotation puzzle. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, up next is Kalana.
Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right. Hello, my name is Kalana Lee, design lead, and what I worked on throughout the semester was helping with puzzle designs for the new puzzles that we've have for our level, along with gathering audio for new puzzles and audio for our feedback loop. I also helped mentor our new designer on our new puzzles that he created and how the flow of the puzzle should be that would work well in our game. And I also helped gather clips for the trailer you guys just saw.
Awesome. And Jake, your turn.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right. Hi, Jake Fusco, designer on Escape Room AR. This semester, I designed many of the puzzles that you see in the trailer. I also worked on storyboarding and scripting a fantasy intro scene and also the trailer as well. And I also did some scouting around for audio clips for a lot of the puzzles currently in the game. That's it.
Awesome. And Raul is here with me. He's going to give his stand up.
Hi, I'm Raul Montez, and I'm working as a contract designer in Escape Room AR. Throughout this semester, I've helped with redesigning the target images, gathering the clips for the trailer, and doing the fairy that will come soon in the thing.
Awesome. And next is Zach.
Hi, my name is Zachary Lloyd. I'm the lead programmer on the team this semester. The three highlights for me this semester that I worked on was helping with the functionality of the potion puzzle, the animal board puzzle, and the planet puzzle. I also developed the hint system and integrated the multiplayer system into the game this semester. Thank you.
Awesome. And next is Josue.
Hello, my name is Josue Espinosa. I'm a programmer in Escape Room AR. This semester, what I've been working on was the planet puzzle, the potions puzzle, and merging all that stuff and helping attach everything on the develop branch. And it was a fun semester to work on with. Thanks.
And last but not least is Darren.
Hello, I'm Darren Palermo. I'm one of the founding members of Escape Room AR. This semester, I helped out with problems in source control and with the Git. I also worked with solving minor issues in different existing programming objects. So I helped fix the mage beam and the monster board before a build. And then lastly, I worked on a lot of UI stuff. I worked on getting the horizontal orientation working and the entire functionality and implementation of the class selection screen and class selection. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So we are pitching again for summer 2020. So I'll just jump right into that pitch deck really quickly. Are you all able to see this presentation mode? Yes. No?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So if you've never been familiarized with this project before, we are Escape Room AR. We're a mobile multiplayer AR escape room, just like the name says. We create everything in Unity. We're developing for Android and iOS, and of course we are multiplayer. We're looking for 1 to 2 designers this coming semester. We do puzzle design, sound design, class balancing, narrative design as well. Anyone who's familiar with Xcode, we've been running into some opportunities for improvement there with our Apple builds, and then also looking for updating our target images. We're looking for designers who have skills in both art and programming, as we do have a lot of overlap with the tasks involved there. For artists next semester, we're looking for just 1 to 2. Anyone who's looking for props, character rigging, animation, UI, working with designers on target images, as well as some technical art assets. And then we're looking at having a heavier programming semester in the summer. So we need 3 to 4 people. We need people who are experienced in Photon or willing to learn Photon. That's how we connect our network between players. And we also need people who are familiar with Euphoria, C# and Unity, of course, and then mobile development. We are seeking a lead programmer for this coming semester. So if you're interested in that opportunity, please do reach out to us. The production plan for this coming semester, 1 to 3 weeks, within the first 3 weeks, weeks 1 through 3, we're going to be going through onboarding, Euphoria, polishing up a couple of things from our current existing puzzles, and then we're going to be going through mechanics permutations, polishing out our multiplayer system, making sure that that's optimized, and then we're going to take another first level pass at a level trailer and audio. The following milestone, we're going to be going into personal account creations, expanding our hint systems. We're going to be implementing a wizard modeled after Professor Clark, so that's going to be pretty fun. It's also going to be a big ticket item for the semester, so we've kind of broken that down into several milestones. And then also implementing any new puzzle art based on the mechanics from the designers. Within milestone 3, we're going to be adding the feature to add remove friends, inviting friends, and then going forward with the other puzzles and mechanics from before. And then also milestone 4, we're going to be adding invitations to play, so you can invite your friends coming in with additional art assets to wrap up the semester. And then milestone 5 is going to be a semester or a milestone of polish once again, preparing the trailer, polishing out our assets, and preparing for the celebration. So that is who we are. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Lindsay. Just as a reminder, you can use the chat. A warning I didn't give is if you decide to do private chats to make fun of each other, all that saves. So if you made fun of Lindsay through that presentation, I now know about it. All right. Yeah. Moving on. Next. Well, first is any questions? I didn't see much pop up in the chat. So yeah, absolutely, Miguel. Great progress. It looks really, really good. Great work, guys. All right, next we have James with Boss Simulator.
Yes. I will share my screen and we'll get the video playing soon. Visual okay?
Yep.
All right, and that was our video edited together by Caitlin Jensen for Boss Simulator. Give me a quick sec so I can swap over the build to show you guys what we did this semester specifically. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. This semester we focused a lot on getting more animations in and getting a bunch of art textures in for a bunch of assets that we did last semester. So we were doing through some of this in the video, but here we got a bunch of monitors and art assets all created by Mike Nicholson. And we have of course, the Room of Steves that we showed off in the video over here, which has all the different mocap animations that Joy was able to do during the semester. Along with that, we have the hiring system that we got working, which spawns our Samantha model over here. And then we can even get a desk for her. And spawn her in and assign her to the desk. So that way she can go there and do work. And do that. But from here, I'll let my team take over and share what they did specifically for this semester. And I'll also play the video in the background. Caitlin, if you'd like to start us off.
Okay, hi, I'm Art Lead. I also did that video. It was kind of fun to edit it because I really like editing. But this semester, I primarily worked on doing Art League, helping people with Maya because it's Maya. To be honest, some things happen, and I usually tell them just to restart. We also worked on getting animations, which I let Joey primarily take over because he was more dedicated than I was, and I'll give it to him that I completed Lauren, and I also did the Brett model, and I did a lot of more props just on the sidelines, which Michael took from me to texture, which I am thankful for because I don't like texturing. But yeah, I'm going to hand off the baton to my next artist, which I'll give it to Joey.
All right, hello, I'm Joey Chilton, artist on Boss Simulator. So this semester I've worked on a few props I've modeled and textured, and then 2 of the characters I've modeled, textured, and rigged. But then mostly with like this last half, I've primarily worked on those animations you saw, and they were all motion capture. So I want to give a huge shout out to Lynn for really taking the time and helping me with that, because that was something else, I gotta say. So that's what I've done.
Ethan, if you'd like to go next.
Sure, yeah. So this semester, I'm Ethan, programmer on Botsum. So this semester I primarily worked on the hiring system and the hiring UI. So, so anything that goes into hiring an employee, making sure that they spawn into the scene, as well as making sure they get assigned to a workstation so that way they can actually work. I also would help out with getting all the assets compiled so we can get a build ready anytime we did a build. And towards the last bit of the semester, I worked on getting money reintegrated into the build.
Norman, if you'd like to go next.
Hello, my name is Norman Nguyen. I am the intern programmer for the project. So throughout of my time doing Boss Simulator, I've been working on normally on the phone system. So I did a messaging system, the notification system, and then I did the option menu. So far, I try to do the dialogue system. Usually the CSV, I haven't gotten that far. But I'm just proud, for the team and including myself, despite the pandemic that we had. So I hope to see this project going, and that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Michael Rodriguez, if you'd like to go next.
Yeah, hello. My name is Michael Rodriguez, artist on Boss Simulator. So during the semester, in the beginning, I was following to create the Samantha model. I tried by sculpting and modeling and did all that for her, as well as like the clothing and everything and towards the beginning. And then afterwards, I got into helping the other artists with props, such as like the calendars and fridges and mirrors and stuff like that. Modeled them and textured them and had some computer difficulties along the way, but was able to get through it. And I like how it's turned out in the end.
Mike Nicholson, if you'd like to go next.
Hello. Hello, I'm one of the artists. I'm Mike Nicholson. I'm one of the artists slash designers on the team. Over the course of the semester, I focused on updating some documentation, getting some textures onto Caitlin's models, updating any models, creating some new models, including a new whiteboard model and a few other props. Over the course of the semester, everything was really interesting and everyone worked together really well. And we all got some really nice stuff.
Nice. And finally, Aubrey, if you'd like to talk about some of the things you did. I don't know if Aubrey's here or not.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Hello, I'm Aubrey. I was one of the artists on the team. I worked on, pardon me. I worked on some 2D assets like the character icons, one of the calendars, and behind the scenes was working with dialogue options and writing dialogue. And it's mostly just working with the team to get other 2D assets when needed.
Nice. All right. That's all we got. We're not repitching for Greenlight. This will be it for Boss Simulator as far as I know. Jacqueline, it'll be up to her to see if she wants to reintroduce the studios at any point. Thank you for listening.
Cool. Good job, guys. Moving on, we're going to go to Jacqueline with Gray Area.
Hey guys, Kyle, you got the stuff?
Sure do. Is it sharing?
Yeah, yes sir. Alrighty, so hi, I'm Jacqueline. I am the current lead on Gray Area. This semester we were kind of rebuilding Gray Area into a bit more fun, to try to make it more fun and add more of what the shareholders were looking for in the game. I know this game's been in studio for quite a while, and it's had like a lot of progress, some big pivots, but I think we're actually getting into an area of like what the vision actually is. We had some difficulties in communication with the shareholders on that, I think. So that's kind of hindered our progress up until lately, where we've really gotten a lot of feedback from them and now have an actual GDD, so we can continue creating Gray Area as it's meant to be like seen and played through. So some of the things that we worked on this semester was getting our new area all modeled out. Alessandra and Daniel have done an amazing job. This area here has mostly been done, the environment pieces were done by Alessandra, where some of the prop pieces were done by Daniel. Kyle worked on, hang on, sweetie, sorry. Kyle worked on the character controller and getting in some of the abilities. I helped out on that when he had some difficulties. Overall, I think we've been pretty successful this semester despite the whole coronavirus stuff going on. I know that hindered a lot of people. So without further ado, I will let my team do their stand-ups before I segue into our Greenlight pitch. All right, Kyle, take it away.
All right. I'm Kyle. I'm programmer for Gray Area. Like Jacqueline said, most of the time we spent working on a custom character controller. Worked a lot with Jacqueline on that, kind of pair programming up. And yeah, we had a hiccup there about waiting for feedback to see if that was part of the shared vision. But once that was over, started work on telekinesis, and didn't really get into disguise like I wanted to, but it got a fair bit of work done on telekinesis, and it's all good.
All right, Quentin, are you here? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm here. All right, I'm Quentin. I was the designer this semester. Most of the stuff I worked on didn't quite make it into the build that we have here, but I did a lot of work on coming up with puzzle ideas that teach the player how to use their abilities, doing a skill tree, making a mock-up of the UI, and white boxing the simulation level, which is the later part of what was just shown on screen here.
So why don't you do Alessandra's video and then we'll go into the others.
Don't know if sound is going to come through this. I'm not sure how this works.
No, there's no sound. You have to turn it on when you begin sharing.
There's no sound?
No.
No, that's not it.
When you share your screen originally, there's a little checkbox that says share sound as well. So you can shut it off, turn it back on. Look at the bottom when you're clicking which screen you want to share.
Thank you for that.
Hello, this is Alessandra Caballero and I'm the environment artist. And this milestone, I worked on polishing some of the models we already had for the pop room, which I didn't make, but I fixed some of the geometry and corrected some stuff, and then I worked on this elevator. It's not done yet, but I worked on the basic shape, and I also worked on this hall here to connect the med bay, which I worked on the previous sprints, and to connect the med bay, which is all this, to the augment center right here. So that's what I did this milestone, and I also organized the objects by category and depending on which room they're in. So that's what I did.
Okay.
That's it.
Is Daniel here?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Daniel.
Okay, hi, I'm Daniel. I'm in the artist team too. For this sprint, I modeled the pod room, and Sandra helped me with it. I also, at the beginning of the semester, I was working on a character. I got a model and everything, but I had some rigging issues that I still need to work on, so I'm gonna work on those as well. But at the end, it didn't make the final build, but I actually was able to texture the med bay. So those are my 3 big highlights for this sprint.
All right, so I will take control and we'll get this pitch rolling. All right, let's see. Google Slides. You guys see the presentation?
Yep.
You can still see it?
Yep.
I hit present, so I wasn't sure. Okay, so so gray area is has been made under Opera Skunk, which is a local indie company here in the Valley, which is owned by Doug and Daryl. They're two guys that have worked in the game industry and that really have a love of creating games. They have multiple backgrounds. So like Doug is very into QA and production and stuff. Daryl's more on the art side. So they're pretty great people to like get some feedback from on different areas. They are very passionate about their projects, and they are very driven, and they are very willing to support students and student work. So Gray Area started out as a 48-hour game jam so long ago with a team that they had previously had working in production studio. The game is an adventure RPG style game, and the vertical slice that we're creating is very limited in scope. So as you just saw earlier, it's just that one area that we're going to be doing with a tutorial on how to use your abilities and some of the major mechanics in the game. So the goals this semester are to start actually building out the skill tree and getting that functional so you can upgrade your abilities and figure out how you want to use them. And you'll be able to do that through your tutorial and your augment center. We also need to get texturing done on the models that we currently have, as well as work on other character models. So we do have our original gray, but we need to get some more grays in there and get some unique textures for them. So when we go into creating our character creator at some point, we'll have that all set up. And also we need to get more props in to make it feel like this space is lived in by millions and thousands of aliens. So make sure that make that feel really full. Okay, so our art style is this sort of cartoony-ish stylized sci-fi with that is like clean and has lots of vibrant colors. We're going to need 3 to 4 artists, 1 or 2 more designers, 3 if we can get that, but if not, that's okay. And about 3 programmers would be nice. Last semester we didn't really get that, but despite that we made a ton of progress, and Kyle did an amazing job. So thank you, Kyle. And if we can get one, a community manager, we want to start on our outreach. And if you know about this, that'd be amazing, because then that would be super helpful to get this game published, as well as if you know anything about web development, that'd be really nice too, because we are in the process of creating a website for Gray Area, so it help with the community outreach as well. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. We hope you'll consider us for Greenlight. You can follow us on Twitter. If you have any questions for Doug and Daryl or any insight, you can email them directly and visit their website. Thank you.
Thanks, Jacqueline. All right. Next up, we have Mascot Heroes. Harley.
Hello. Okay, so I just have a PowerPoint for right now. I will be getting the video in later. Let's see if I can fix. Sorry, give me 1 second. I have too many monitors. Can everybody see it okay?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. So hello everybody, my name is Harley Kuntz. I am the lead for Mascot Heroes. I don't think any of my team is here, mostly just because they are interns, but so I'll just go ahead and say what they've done. But some things that we've done for this milestone was that we finally got more background assets. We are considering some stuff with our characters, other add-ons, and we actually have a build. Yay! So our wonderful new background people, Aubrey and John, have been working on backgrounds for us. They've done such an amazing job, and I cannot thank them enough for doing what they've done. It has helped so much and takes so much stress off of my back. One of the things that we have been considering and has officially been released is the fact that we are redoing our character art to look more like the book's art than anything else. The only reason why this is a major thing in this project is because of how this project has been going, and we've actually been making some good progress. So it's time to make even more. Other add-ons, some other things that one of our wonderful designers has been doing is that he has been creating sounds for our game as well. They are not in build at the moment, but he has them in the background and we have them working. He's just been making little sound cues, background noises, and music. That's what Connor's been up to, so he's also another intern. And like I said, we finally have a build, yay! We are still working on the scaling and stuff like that, but it does work. It does have a movement system. We can change characters and we can do everything that we wanted to do. We're still working on the power system and things like that, but other than that, we do have a game that you can play on a phone or on the computer, so. And just gonna let that play out. And Keith has been the one that's been working on this. He's been doing a great job as well. He's been putting a lot of effort towards it, so. Yeah. Okay, so one of the things that I've also been doing before I get into the whole Greenlight stuff is that I have been working with everybody to get our game as close as possible to at least having a build or at least getting to that next step. We have been having a little rough time around this semester, but we've been doing a lot better than I thought we would be doing, especially with all the help that we've been getting from other teams and other things like that. So with that said, I'll go ahead and go straight into the Greenlight presentation that we have. What we want next, I can't speak words. We would really like to get this game off the ground. We've been getting the ball rolling and we would like to keep it rolling because we really want to get this out to the masses as soon as we can. Our client has very big, not expectations, but she is very, very hopeful for us to get it done. And we'd also like to get it done for her. So some of the goals that we'd like to say that I've already previously mentioned, that we would like to get the characters redone. We would also like to get some of the art redone, or the art style in general. We would also like to finally get some story and finally get some puzzles in there so it actually looks and feels like a real game. And also need to work on the movement system and things like that. If you haven't heard about Mascot Heroes, it is a book written by Dana Winston. I hope that I said her name right. It's a story about 5 friends who serve in different branches of the military and how they saved our nation from the disastrous and downright doomed disaster. And it's not COVID-19. Everything is based on this story. We are working strictly from this story now and no twists and turns from anything else. We would love it if we had 2 more designers, preferably designers that like Unity and like making levels and puzzles like that. We do need 2 more artists that know how to work in Photoshop and Illustrator for either characters, UI, or background still. And we would like 1 more programmer, if possible, that knows how to work in Unity and stuff like that. We're also looking for lead roles, especially next semester. A lot of our leads are either graduating or not going to be able to do next semester. So if you would like to be a lead on a project, this would be a great project to start on. And yeah, that's it. We would really like to join for next semester, and we'd really like to get this game out as soon as we can so everybody can enjoy it. We're getting closer to what we want, and we're getting closer to a good actual game. So thank you.
Thanks, Harley.
How do I stop sharing?
I got you.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have Jason with SCNM.
Okay, let me
start. I'll start by actually passing over to my team member, Christopher Picozzi, and he'll highlight some of the things that he's been working on as our project manager. And then we'll pass it over to Diamond, and she'll discuss some of the things that she's learned during this process. So I'll start with Christopher.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Good.
Yep.
Thank you. So I am the Scrum Master / Project Manager for SCNM, and most of what I've been doing for the team is keeping everybody on track, making sure tasks are assigned, and obviously handling the weekly burn downs and OPPMs, making sure that the client is getting contacted, reminding Jason of what needs to get done and everything like that. And yeah, I've just been trying to just keep everyone on track, making sure everything has a smooth pipeline. That's what I've been doing for the team. And that's it.
So I'm Crawford. I did a lot of research and learning. I've learned a lot about APIs, and I've been learning a lot of different frameworks that I've never touched before. And it's a really interesting learning process. And I've gotten acquainted with MongoDB and learned how to make a backend database for that. And other than that, it's just been all learning. And that's
All right. Had to figure out how to unmute myself on here. Okay, so I'm going to begin by showcasing. Can everybody see the screen that I'm currently on?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look here, this is our MongoDB, our database that we're actually accessing right now. Right now, we're focused primarily on backend development. We have to develop our backend before moving into our front-end development, as the majority of our components will actually be updated by the information that's contained within our backend. If you look in here, this is our users. Currently, you'll see only one user is listed, John Doe email. One of the important features that I'll highlight down here is this hashing algorithm that we're using called bcrypt.js, which hashes our passwords so that nobody, including those who are accessing the database, will have access to our passwords, and providing security and protection for any user who accesses our material. I'm going to move over to Postman here. And right now I have a function. It's a post request that will post into the database. So I'm creating a new user here, Jane Doe, jane@gmail.com. And you can see here I'm generating a password for her. When I submit this request, it will actually generate a new user. And down here at the bottom, you can see this JSON web token that's being generated. I'm going to copy that material. I'll go back to this MongoDB. So when I click on this users again, you'll see that our database is actually being updated. And as you can see, that password is being protected. When I go over to this JSON web token, I can actually post this material or this web token in here. And what you're actually seeing here is the information that's being passed along through the server. As you can tell, none of the private information that's being generated by the user is actually being passed along. So the ID here is the only thing that's going to be seen from the outside, and these are the hashing algorithms that are being used to protect that information. So we have two forms of security that are currently implemented. If I return back to here and I try to submit another request to register the same user, you'll notice down at the bottom here that we have a message that says the email already exists. So we have built-in validation features that are registered with each of these materials. If I go into here, I'm going to go into a logged in user. Let's see. We can access that logged in user by using this XAuth token and pasting that that JSON web token into each one of our materials. Additionally, we've generated something called a contacts list, which will be modified later on to represent our patient profiles that each user will be creating. If I go back into our database and I go into contacts, you can see here we have a separate item that's being generated, and this is directly connected to a user ID. That user ID is registered to the user of John Doe. So this establishes our relationships between each one of our items. It's a lot of work. It's quite tedious, but so far everything is going pretty well. And overall, I'm quite happy with where we're at. It's a pretty sophisticated build. We're operating on some very interesting material. So far the team has done a great job, and I'm quite proud of everything that we've accomplished. So thank you.
Thanks, Jason. All right. The final team to present is Benchmark. Go ahead, William.
Hello, everybody. I'm William Jeffers. I've been the project lead for Benchmark. This semester, we started basically from scratch, and we worked with our client to create a game that teaches people some useful organizational skills for their production line-based job, or just production job in general. So what we did was we put together a game, and we worked with this client, and we brought together a small team of relatively highly dedicated, wonderful people. And I think we've got some really good stuff to show. So allow me to share my screen really quick. All right, let's do this and go over to here and share screen and share. All right, so this is the build we have. It's got a start and a quit button, and our lovely concept art in the background. And we've got all our cats here. Some of them are actually hard to see because I've got this whole window over here. It's kind of annoying, but got to click them in order. And then as you go through each level, it gets progressively easier to do. We were going to put in a couple of changes, but since there are differences in team members, because we had a lot of online members, there was a little bit of miscommunication and we had some problems. But that's okay, because we still got a nice concept going that is a wonderful stepping off point for the next group of people to work on this project. So I will close this. And then we've got some extra cat concept art, or not concept art, but some extra cat art made by our lovely artist. If you would like to, you could start talking and I'll flip through this slideshow for you.
Yeah, I made a bunch of cats. So I started off with the base model, and then I just took them into Substance and went ham with making cat textures. I tried to do it in a way that was as modular as possible, so some of the patterns do repeat, but there are differences in color just to add some variety into what the player will be seeing. As well as that, I worked on creating environment assets and textured those as well. Unfortunately, these textures for the cats weren't able to make it into the final build because of some programming issue, to my knowledge, and that was just a whole can of worms. But at the very least, we do have all of these textures and cats for the next team to work with, and I'm very proud of them because I think the cats came out really cute in the end.
We also our lead designer worked on the level design for our game. They also made a couple of other maps, but they weren't really implementable in this version of the build. So look forward to that next time this comes around. And then Derek, I think you made a pitch for next semester.
Yep, I'll take care of that.
All right.
All right, good job, guys. All right, so that concludes our team pitches. I'm going to go ahead and jump in to talk about the 3 external projects that we have coming in. SCNM with Jason is going to go over to the other studio. The nice part about that project is they took it so far in a different direction that the client wanted that it no longer really fits in gaming. But we do have another studio, so that one's going to get pitched over there. All right, so let me pull up my stuff here. So I have got 3 projects that you have seen 2 of them. And the first one we're going to look at is one that you have seen in the past, but is going to be new for some people. Let's go ahead and share my screen. That's our website. Let's go to that one. All right, so this is a project
sketchy shit in the
that we worked on.
Oh my god.
Mute your mic, Jeff, William.
Oh.
All right, so this is a project we worked on last year. We were going to run it in the spring, but due to resourcing and ultimately the COVID-19 thing, we went ahead and bumped it and kind of put it on the back burner. Since the students who would be using it were all going home and we no longer had access to them for testing. So this is a project that is a good chunk done. The game works, there's mini games, there's a banking system. The point of junior achievement is to teach junior high to high school students the ins and outs of financial literacy. So we get into jobs and banking and mortgages and all that kind of stuff. So everything in this game pretty much exists at this point. So what we're going to do over the summer is look to put a team together in order to kind of polish and finish this up, add in any details, player experience elements, story elements, things like that, that kind of bring the things together. In the early spring, we did launch this in some select schools to get some feedback from actual students that would be using it. So we've got that feedback and different things along those lines to implement. So this is a Unity project. And like I said, we have 2 areas already built and complete. So we'll be looking to put a team together for kind of the wrap up and the polish and to make any changes that the client has requested based off of the feedback. All right, I'm not going to watch that whole video. We are going to go ahead and slide over to some presentation stuff here. All right, so one of the things that UAT is trying to do is to actually work on external projects in order to both expose you guys to clients, but also get your stuff launched out into the world so that you have got great collateral when you're going out there and looking for jobs and things like that. So I went ahead and just combined all 3 of these into one presentation. Harley already hit on some of the stuff. So the 3 projects that we have are Benchmark, which is Benchmark is a manufacturing company. We're building 2 mini games. You saw the 6S sorting game that was with cats and an 8 wastes of lean. This will be shipped at the end of the summer term. Benchmark is a multi-billion-dollar company, and they're going to use this as the backbone of their training for all of the companies that fall underneath their umbrella. So lots and lots of exposure and a good thing to get your name attached to. Junior Achievement, which you just saw, is an RPG style game to teach financial literacy. We're also looking to polish and ship that at the end of the semester. And Mascot Heroes, which you saw Harley present, is a mobile platforming puzzle game linked to the military mascot IP. So if we look at milestones for Benchmark, we are looking to finish up the cats game, different levels. What you saw with the cat matching, there's going to be 4 levels where we actually change the way the cats are sorted and then score how many cats you can score within like 30 seconds to show how the different sorting techniques work. We'll finish that up. We need to design, create, and build the 8 waste game. This is going to be a robot assembly line where little robots are going to come down an assembly line, but they're going to have different things. They're going to either have defects, or they're going to come too fast or too slow, or there's going to be different wastes of, you know, resources that you have to identify as part of that game. And then we need to build a wrapper that's kind of the overall presentation with voiceovers, which the client will provide, the different info elements teaching some of these, the the wastes and the 6S and things like that, and testing for understanding. This is an Unreal project, which we don't do a lot of Unreal projects. So if you're looking to get some Unreal experience, this is definitely one. And I've been talking to the client. We may also be porting this into some web stuff to fit within their systems. What do we need? 1 to 2 designers, 2 to 3 Unreal programmers, 1 to 2 3D artists. An experienced designer, I put that one in there, is if there's somebody who's interested in kind of doing that overarching, here's how the whole experience is going to come together, and link the games and their old PowerPoint and teaching into this. For this project, there are internships available. So it doesn't necessarily mean if you're in studio, if you're looking for an internship, I can provide an internship for this particular project. Junior achievement, which we already hit on a lot of this. We're incorporating the feedback from the student playthroughs. We're modifying that player experience, going from tutorial to all the learning goals, working on the story, polishing the story. There are 2 mini games in here now. I'd like to implement some more mini games. So we have the structure. Miguel and the team from last term built all the structure to add those mini games, and then finalize and polish this up for launch. If we get really, really crazy and have a really big team, we do have designed out a 3rd area. We would add that, but I'd rather get the 2 areas working seamlessly before we do that. So that is something that could be available. Same kind of thing. This is a Unity project, 2 to 3 designers for the mini games and the total experience, some Unity programmers to implement that stuff. And depending on whether we go for the stretch goal or not, the art needs will be pretty low, since most of the art assets are done. It'll just be cleaning up and polishing stuff, maybe building some stuff for the new mini games. This project also has internships available. So if you're looking and need an internship, we can provide that. You saw Mascot Heroes. We're going to continue to build out the character and level art. We're going to complete the tutorial, the intro, the playable areas, design the puzzles, the levels, the skill puzzle system, and how that all works, and finalize out the story. You saw what Harley and the team have created. Same kind of thing here, 2 to 3 designers, couple of Unity programmers, maybe some 2D or maybe 3D artists, and internships are available for this one as well. So those are the ones that we have available from outside clients. All right, according to my schedule, we have 1 pitch still coming. Michael, are you pitching today? Michael Nicholson?
Yep.
All right, go ahead, my friend.
I think you're muted, Michael.
How did it mute me? That's weird. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am pitching Careers of the Dark. Careers of the Dark is my SIP project that I've been working on for a while now. Something I've been thinking about in the background, essentially. Let's get into this. Careers of the Dark, or COTD, aims to be a 4-player co-op horror game featuring interactive gameplay for streamers and viewers on Mixer. They're supposed to be, each level is supposed to run similar to a campaign. So think of Outlast, but just split that campaign in half. That's about the amount of playtime that each level will be. It's currently being built in Unreal Engine 4.16. It features Mixer activity, so whenever someone launches the game and logs in with their Mixer/Microsoft/Xbox account, it automatically connects to their Mixer account. It will show up a few options and buttons, a few little widgets underneath their screen, or even in some cases on top of their screen that viewers and friends can interact with. The innovation claim, through Mixer, viewers of different XP levels. Mixer has a system with XP, so you are a different rank as you watch more streams. They will be able to control spirits, and they'll be able to play alongside the streamer. They'll be able to control AIs and control things within the environment, as well as doing tasks that the streamers cannot do. But their health is also limited, so how long they can control this AI is also limited. Who's on team now? Currently is only myself. I do have one contributor who is a community developer for Mixer. Their name is Daddy Robot. They actually, the way I met them was actually, they came into my stream. I was working on this. I was doing some testing. They gave me some feedback. They gave me some ideas. They even pitched to me an idea for another innovation at TechOn, such as creating a chatbot that can connect to the Mixer API that will then translate that data for Unreal Engine. Unfortunately, that one is a bit more of a stretch, but it was one of those cool little things. Also, I have a high Mixer partner named Arcade Angel, who has mentioned multiple times that she will be offering feedback. She's willing to playtest different builds live on her stream, show it off to her community as much as possible, get other partners involved, see what they think. Will this be something that can help partners earn more revenue on the platform? And more things. And also, generally, she's helped me network with a few other partners. So who do I need? I need at least 1 to 2 artists, 2 to 3 programmers, and 1 to 2 designers. I can honestly live with one of each, as long as everyone that I get is willing to learn visual scripting or understands visual scripting, then wonderful. But that's just the main thing. Right now, everything is going to be focused on functionality over top of how pretty things are going to look. It would be a bonus as well if each and every, so if I have an artist, it'll be a bonus if they are willing to learn something like Blender, which is a tool that I've been using lately. And since there's no licenses connected to it, that'll make things a lot easier in the long run. So for the semester goals, everything that's in red is the main things that need to be done. Currently, I have an AI system already implemented that just needs to be improved, needs to develop a Mixer AI. This one is ideally simple. It's just the blueprints for it get a little bit messy. The behavior tree gets a little messy sometimes. So it just needs a programmer to help work with me on that one. Expanding upon the menu, linking whenever a viewer signs in through Mixer and connects through Mixer interactivity, their XP and all that information gets saved somewhere, so that way they can have a dedicated account, sort of, while the game is in progress. Designers are going to be working on objectives and tasks for both the players and viewers to complete. They'll also be designing the first level, which won't be going into like for more details. Simply BSP would work for now until artists can do something, or I can do something such as more modular walls and such. And they'll also work along the artists with UI design. Artists will be working on designing the first model so this first model will be the monster. Creating modular assets such as walls, floors, and doors. You can always have more modular assets, I mean. It'll definitely help with designing the levels, make life a lot easier. Props for the abandoned hotel, monster attack animations. That one's a stretch goal. At least one modular character model. Again, another stretch goal. If it's possible, then certainly do it. And UI design. The style right now is not currently 100% set in stone. I'm looking towards a white noise design mixed with some stylized realism, per se. I also left myself a note. Yay. Think layers of fear materials, but outlast style levels when you kind of think of this. And that should be it.
Nice.
All right, thank you. Michael Nicholson. That looks like a very interesting project as well. All right, at this time, we are going to break. Derek, do you have anything to add? Come back at 1.
Yeah, I think 1 o'clock will work. Judges and game team will meet in the studio, or not the studio, the department teams. If you guys want to grab something to eat, we can meet there. 10 minutes, 15 minutes is fine. Lindsay, check your private messages for me in the Zoom chat. Other than that, yeah, I think well done, everybody. It was great to see all the projects. Like I said, we're going to leave the Zoom open so you can hang out here, chat, talk to each other. It won't be recorded. And we will meet back in the same Zoom room. I'm not closing it. So, if you just want to stay connected and go away, that's fine. But be back here at 1 o'clock for team awards, team photos, and the announcement of what we're going to Greenlight for summer. All right. Well done, everyone. Go ahead, Lynn.
All right. So last thing, if you don't have your face showing or you didn't show your face, use this opportunity to go ahead and check your camera or get a camera set up. We would love to have your faces in the team photos and the studio photo. I think this particular Greenlight celebration event will go down in history for obvious reasons. And we certainly want to include you and your face, not just your name. Thank you.
All right.
All
Stopping
right.
the recording.
See you at 1.